Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you for being here and tuning in. This week we have Prajakta back. She's from India. She's an amazing painter and she's going to be teaching a beautiful fall scene with acrylics. I'll link everything in the description down below and also her pages if you want to see more of her work. Also be sure to use hashtag ColorByFeliks so that we can see your creation and share it with our community. And please be sure to like and subscribe so that we can bring on more artists and be able to support artists and grow this channel and give you free lessons here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. We appreciate it as artists. I hope you'll enjoy this lesson. Take care and God bless.
Hey guys, this is Prajakta here. Since this is the most colorful time of the year, I am planning to teach you guys this beautiful yet very easy autumn painting. So let's get our tutorial video started. So here's my ceramic palette and I am going to wrap this in a baking paper. The reason I do this is to make it quite convenient for me to simply throw away this wrap paper that you see over here instead of wasting a lot of time washing this palette. And these are the colors that I'll be using. It's a beautiful set of premium acrylic colors by ColorByFeliks. If you are looking forward to buy these, you can check the description below. Now let me show you guys what all colors we'll be requiring for layer number 1. So here's titanium white. The next up is black. Next is grey, but you can simply avoid this color or it is not really required if you can use black and white in equal proportion. Next one is cerulean blue. You may require more or less quantity of these colors depending upon the size of your canvas or whatever base that you guys are using. So here's the first set of acrylic colors that I'll be requiring and I'll be making our layer number 1 on our canvas. So it all depends on what size canvas are you using for your painting. If you are using a large canvas, then you need to take a larger size of flat brush in order to cover your background. If you are working on a smaller piece of a canvas or even a medium size, then you could take a medium size flat brush. Now let's move on to our painting. I'll be requiring the lightest shade of blue, so I'm mixing this cerulean blue and white. Since it's still looking a little darker shade of blue to me, I'll be adding more and more white to it. So here's the canvas that I'll be painting. I know it's a little big in size, but you guys can make this painting on any size of canvas. And now I'm going to divide this canvas in 3 parts. The first part is going to be in light blue that we just made. I'm making a line for our reference. And now I'm simply going to paint this entire top portion in light blue. I'm using a little bit of white to make it even more lighter. So this is basically a sky in my background and I don't want to keep it too much in dark blue shade or too much in white. So we have to make a perfect combination of blue and white. So now that we have finished coloring in blue, we will move on to the next part and here I'll be basically needing a light shade of grey. So here I'm mixing these colors and I'll be adding a more of white since I want to make it a lighter shade of grey. And now let's start coloring our second part in this light grey color. And for the third part, I am going to add a lot of black since we need the darkest shade of grey over here. So let's add more of black and make the darkest shade of grey. And now we move on to painting our third part of first layer. So now that we are done coloring our first layer, let's prepare our palette for the second layers. I'm going to repeat some colors again, taking some white, grey and black. I'll be needing a shade of brown as well. And for that matter, I'm taking raw umber. Alternatively, you could take any shade of brown. And I'll be needing various shades of green. The first one is the hooker's green. So this color is usually the darkest shade of green color, followed by sap green and viridian. So these are really very good colors in order to paint any form of nature or landscape which has a lot of trees, and it really looks beautiful with the help of hooker's green, sap green and even viridian together. So for the next layer, I have taken out a really very less quantity of color in my palette just to show you guys, but I'll be adding my colors as and when I require. And these are the brushes that I'll be using. We need a medium-sized flat brush, and for this reason I have taken brush number 6 in my flat brush. And in the round brush category, I have taken number 1. So if you are using or if you are working on a very small canvas, you could take a 0 number round brush as well. Now let's start coloring our layer number 2. I'm taking this white color over here, and with the help of my flat brush, I am going to create some outlines for the road. Close look on how am I holding my brush. The outline shouldn't be too broad, and hence I'm holding it in a way which is slightly pointed on my canvas. In case your lines get too broad, simply use a wet towel or a wipe or even a wet tissue and remove it until it's not dried. In order to paint a road, we would be requiring a little more darker shades of color, and hence I'm using these dark colors like black and a bit of raw umber. And now let's start coloring. You could also add a tinge of any blue shade. You could completely avoid this and just make it a plain dark road. Only thing that you need to make sure that this part is the darkmost part in your entire painting. Instead of taking a tinge of blue, you could also take a little bit of violet, or you could take any cool color. If you are making on a smaller piece of a canvas, just simply take the darkest shade of grey and use a little bit brown onto it. You just have to make the road the darkest part out of all the colors on the canvas. So we are almost done coloring the road and we will move on to the next step. For that, we would be needing a little bit of black color once again. So here I am taking out black and I'll be refilling my other colors as well. I'll be using a round brush. Alternatively, you could use any thin brush. And with the help of this round thin brush and this black color over here, I'm going to make some branches and some barks of trees on each of the side of the road. And now we are going to color the second layer in green. We already have these colors in our palette, and now with the help of this flat brush, I'll put a little bit more color. Let's take this hooker's green, which is the darkest shade of green, and add a lot of water since this would be a very watery kind of a layer. You need to keep this layer very light, and hence I'm using a lot of water. If it gets too much, you could simply wipe it with the help of a wet towel or a tissue paper. And now I'm applying a little bit of green on each of the sides of road as well. So basically I'm adding this green color just to cover up a little bit of grey area which we have on our layer number 1. Now that we are done with coloring this green color over here, we move on to coloring the road once again, and I'll be needing some colors which I'll be telling you guys. The colors I'll be using are grey. Like I previously mentioned, you could just take a little bit of black and white and mix them in equal proportion to get grey color. Taking a bit of violet, raw umber, raw sienna. So basically we need few shades of brown and of course black and white to make this road look more vibrant. And we also need some yellow. I'm dipping my flat brush number 6 in water, making it a little bit wet for the smooth flow of my colors. Taking this grey right from my palette. And now applying some black over it. Making the sides of the road a little bit more evident by coloring in white once again. And next up we need to take yellow color and a thin brush to make a yellow line right in between the road. And now we can give a little shade of violet or even any shade of blue for that matter. We move on to taking some brown colors and apply it on both the sides of the road. We basically need to hide a lot of grey color that's already there in our layer number 1. and hence we are going to add a few shades of brown and a few shades of green. Alternatively, you can also show some dry bushes with the help of brown color, and for that you need to use a brown color and a flat brush, and make sure you do not use water while doing this dry brush technique. And once again, I'll be taking some shades of green. They were Viridian, Sap Green and Hooker's Green. And now we'll be applying these colors on the brown color. I'm using a small size flat brush and I would be just dabbing all the three green colors. So what you need to do for this dry brush technique is take the color straight away from your palette, and without using the water, you just have to dab onto your canvas. And like I mentioned before, the size of your brush completely depends on the size of the base that you guys are working on. So in case you are working on a very tiny canvas, avoid using a bigger sized flat brush and take smaller sized flat brush or even round brush for that matter. And similarly, we are going to apply this dabbing technique on the top portion, which is the barks and the branches. I'm going to take out these green colors once again. And from my brushes, I am going to use a thin filbert brush. Alternatively, you could also use a flat brush, number 1, number 2 or even number 3. I'm going to paint leaves with the help of these green colors and my filbert brush, and we would be moving from dark to light. I am also going to take out some yellow color to add to the topmost portion of it. And now I'm adding some more bushes on each of the sides of the road with the help of the colors that we already have. Since this is an autumn landscape, we need to add some autumn colors to our painting. So right now you all can see this picture is quite green and quite foresty green. Hence I'll be showing you guys what all colors we would be requiring to give it an autumn feel. I'll be using some warm colors which are lemon yellow, yellow ochre, orange, vermilion, scarlet, crimson red and burnt sienna. So these are the set of warm colors that I'll be using for our autumn painting. So basically these colors are shades of yellow, red, orange and even brown. So you can use it as per your requirement or as per what you have already available. I am quickly going to take out all of these colors in my palette now. So here's my palette which I'm going to use. Similar to how we painted the green color, we are going to paint all of these colors on each of the branches and barks of our trees. We start off with yellow and the same filbert brush that I was using before. Just make sure you do not use water or do not use excess of water while doing this dabbing technique. And also make sure that the previous color has been dried if you are overlapping your colors. Before we complete coloring our canvas with the help of these warm colors, I'm going to show you guys that we also need to apply these same colors at the bottom portion. So basically these are these colorful dried leaves that have fallen below. I'm going to apply these colors with the help of the same brush. Alternatively, you could also use a thick bristle fan brush and not use water once again and use the dabbing technique. Now we are going to cover the whole of the top part with all of these warm colors. So while you use this fan brush or any other brush and apply this dry brush technique onto your canvas, just remember you do not have to use water, and I would recommend you guys to try this color on a piece of a tissue paper or any normal paper, dab onto it and then take it on your canvas. This would definitely avoid the initial smudgy kind of a look onto your canvas, and hence always try it on an alternate paper or a tissue and then bring it on your canvas. Let's add other colors as well. So one thing that you need to keep in mind is in this painting, you can see there are some trees right at the middle, right at the center, and these trees would be usually painted in a very lighter shade so that it gives a little bit of 3D look. So the center should be light, and as you move ahead, you move on to the darker shade of these colors. We move on to painting all of these colors on our branches once again in all warm colors now. It's actually another day for me making this painting, and my previous colors have completely dried, and hence I'm going to take out all of my colors that I was using before in making this painting once again. So those would be all of those warm colors, the yellow, reds, orange and a little bit of green and brown that I was using before, and I'm going to take out all of these colors in my palette once again. add some more details, I am going to take shades of brown and even green. We already have some white over here and some hookers green. So that would be raw umber, raw sienna, viridian and sap green. So if you remember, we already had these colors in our palette. So if you're making a smaller painting and if you have followed me right from the beginning, you would have these colors in your palette. And now I'm mixing a little yellow in my raw sienna to make it a little bit bright in color. As you can see, I am using this thin bristle round brush to add some more bushes. And I'm going to add some upward short lines. The only thing that you need to keep in mind is that you need to cover this gray area as much as possible. Keep adding some reds, greens and the other autumn colors that we have in our palette. You don't really need to restrict yourself in using any kind of color in a particular corner. So just feel free to use all of these autumn colors and even the green colors in any part of the painting. For the small plants and bushes that are very evident, you could also add some highlights in yellow color. For the road part, I am going to add some sunshine kind of effect, and for that I am going to use a little bit of burnt sienna and yellow. The reason I did not give this effect previously because I wanted the base color to be dried completely. We are not going to put this color directly onto our road, and we would be adding a lot of water and give a watery kind of an effect. You could use a sponge or a tissue paper or even any kind of a cloth to give this effect. Just make sure that the color is not very evident and just gives a light shine to the road. And now that our road is complete, I am going to do some knife work on both the sides of the road. So I'm going to give a little bit of 3D texture to our painting with the palette knife technique. And I'm going to take shades of red, and with the help of palette knife, I am going to straight away put this red colors onto the road. So this part is really fun to do, and as you progress towards the bottom of the painting, all you need to know is that you keep on widening the scope in which you are painting this red color. You can also add a little bit of yellow texture with the help of our palette knife. Make sure that the red color is more evident to give it a very beautiful look. And now that we have completed our texture in knife work and even the top part of the painting has dried, we'll start giving some more detailing to this painting. So I'm going to add some details to the barks and branches of the trees, and I'm going to make some little detailing to these branches to make it look a little bit more evident. Let's take a thin brush to make it even more convenient for us. So once we are done with the detailing of these branches, we will let this black color dry before we move on to our next detailing. And now we are going to add some highlights to our trees, and I'm going to use a cerulean blue and white color for this one. First of all, I'll be making a white line on the side portion of these branches. And after I'm done with this, I would be taking a little bit of white and cerulean blue, and with the help of palette knife, I am going to apply this color, which is a light shade of blue and even a textured shade of blue and white, onto the branches of these trees. So while you are making this texture onto the branches and barks of these trees, make sure that you do not cover the black color which is already there on it completely, but just on one side, and just that it gives a visible texture. And I'm adding some more detailing to our painting. For the road, you can either keep it as it is, like a curvy line that goes right in between the road, or you could add some scattered small lines, which is usually how the road is visible. It is completely up to you. So I believe white and yellow are the two colors in which these lines are made onto the roads. I have used yellow so that it matches my autumn look, and you can alternatively use any of these two colors or make it a straight line or make it a scattered line as per you. So if you have already made this line and want to give it a scattered look, what you can do is just take a dark color, which is a black color, and the other colors that you had used for making a road, and then just erase out the yellow lines in between. And we are almost done with this painting, which is a beautiful autumn painting, and I have named this painting as Falling in Love since it has fall in the title. This was suggested to me on my Instagram handle Paintastic Arts. I hope you enjoyed making this painting, and if you guys have any queries, you can reach out to us in the comment section below.